Let's do it, unless you want to talk about Nevada first. But.
I was gonna ask a question about Utah State. It seems like they have had so much success no matter who the coach is. So what do you see in them that allows them to be one of the best teams in the league? It seems like every year.
Well, they've hired, first of all, this is not, I've said this before, this is not an entry-level league. I mean, Coach Calhoun cut his teeth, along the way under some great coaches and grinded his way in some tough spots and, became a great coach. And so it's not some guy they just plucked out of, like, oh, here's your first chance, you've never done anything before. I mean, he's earned this job and, so he's shown what a great hire he is and what a great coach he is. And that goes to the guys before him too. I mean, there's been guys that have earned their way into that spot because, I think nationally it's known as a good job, because to be a good job, one of the first things I said when I got here, you got to have a great home court advantage. And, I think there was ebbs and flows in this Boise job of home court advantage. When I took it, I don't think it was much of a home court advantage, and now it's been built to be in a really good place to play. And so that's because that is one of the toughest places to play in the country, no doubt, no ifs, ands, or buts. And you ask any coach that's ever played there, coaches that haven't played there don't understand it until you play there, and then you're like, wow, this is better than I thought. So there's a lot of great things built into that job. That's why good coaches want it, and that's what they have now.
Tyson Dagenhart, winning player of the week in the conference today, becomes the 6th player you've had that's won it multiple times in the Mountain West, and he joins Marks, Webb, Hutch, DA, and Max. What's it mean for you, him, in this program that he joins that club?
Well, I didn't have Max on my list.
Not in the same season.
Oh, not in the same season. Got it. But
Career.
Career. Yeah. Yeah. That's a pretty good list. Yeah. I mean, when you're going through those, I'm like, wow, that's some good players. And the thing I keep coming back to with Tyson is because he's not that kind of look at me, put the shine the light on me kind of person. That you sometimes take guys like that for granted, and the stuff that they do day in and day out is just remarkable. To be that good and that consistent and that, it's a coach's dream. But fans, I mean myself, I'm guilty of it too. Like, oh, okay, well this guy did this and this guy did that, because it's sometimes anomalies that are really good. To do what he does every single day, I mean, when he scores 20, we're all like, oh, Tyson got 20 on 9 shots or 7 shots. You're going, so it's great that he gets the acknowledgement from the league and the awards that he deserves, because like I said, that you don't ever want to take guys like that for granted, because what happens, and we all know it, I mean, it's so true that when they're gone, you go, oh my gosh, what did we have? And you appreciate it, because when you can pencil in a guy to do, first of all, to do whatever it's going to take that game's going to take, he'll just do it. And then to just stat out every night, like, okay, I'm going to get 18, my guy's never going to get a rebound, and I'm going to get some. Even on the nights when he doesn't, that's the way, we work pretty hard on our rebounding, and even on those nights that when you go, oh, he didn't get 8 rebounds tonight, his guy didn't get any. He might have had that assignment that night. And so so many little things he does that that's cliche or whatever, but there's just so many things that don't show up on the stat sheet that he does, and that enables you to win.
You guys obviously shot the 3 well again the first time you played him, but it was because of the ball movement and the looks you got too. I mean, what I know it's a cat and mouse game, but what did you guys do so effectively against that zone, and how do you replicate that Wednesday?
Yeah, like you said, you made some shots, but you're not gonna make shots consistently, you don't get good ones, and I think our guys fought pretty hard to get good ones, and it seemed like it got a little bit better as the game went on. You know, early on, we had a couple shot clock violations, we were a little slow getting to things, but, no, it's a unique defense, and, I thought we did a pretty good job. I don't know what grade I would give it. You know, making shots can mask a lot of things. Sometimes you go, man, we played great tonight, and you watch the film, and you're like, oh, we just made a ton of shots. Or sometimes you're like, oh, that was terrible, and you play almost perfect, but didn't make any. You know, basketball can be funny that way. But I think it was a combination of both in that first game.
I know you're not gonna like say, oh yeah, they're a great matchup for us, bad matchup, whatever, but in terms of them not having a ton of interior presence, I mean, when you guys play small sometimes, I mean, is this, do you feel like they're a kind of team, maybe more than like a San Diego State or someone that you know, you like, that you guys match up well with them size-wise?
I don't know that way, because San Diego State uses their size and athleticism mostly on the defensive end, it seems like. You know, they don't dominate us by scoring, and the way they scored in the paint was they drove it to the paint.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think Utah State has some things in common that way, especially with their offensively, and then defensively, man, that's what that zone does. It's hard to get into the paint. I mean, they're, you know, one of the best teams in the country in stealing the ball, and so they eliminate, you know, those easy twos that you can get off some teams, but you're not getting those off great teams, and they become a great defensive team with the way they're playing. It's hard to get the ball, you know, in and around the basket and score it.
How has Utah State changed the most since we played?
That's a good question. I you know, sometimes you don't know, you know. I don't know the answer to that. I'll tell you after the game maybe. But when, you know, because first thing that you do is you usually go back and watch your matchup with them, because you know, you may see a team like, okay, this team did good against them, but that's not even close to what we do, or, you know, so there's always that. So I don't know, that's, you know, I think they've been pretty darn consistent, because they were rolling when we played them, and, you know, they've had some great games since then. I mean, just the other night against San Diego State.
Since that rock bottom moment, you've had 6 really nice wins. You're still kind of juggling with the starting lineup. You've got different guys stepping up on different nights. What's been the best, your favorite thing about these 6 wins in terms of how you regrouped after that rock bottom moment?
There's a lot of great things. I think number one, my thing I'm most proud of with these guys is that, because you know, you measure success of the persistence and the toughness to get up when it's hard to get up, and that separates good teams from great. That separates, you know, great players, everything, and it means everything to our program and to us. And these guys embrace it. And like I told you before, they lift the staff up, they lift each other up. You know, it's hard to have a bad day when you're around, when this group is all together. It really is, and that's not, you know, being cheesy or whatever. I've had great groups, but these guys have such a consistency with it. When, you know, we got some guys that were playing a lot that have started games that aren't playing, and their attitude's golden, and that sets you apart from everybody. When you have guys that have that high a character, that will still be great people, even though their circumstances aren't great for them. And, you know, whether it's the loss of a game, whether they didn't play well, whether they didn't play enough, whether they're amazingly consistent, you know. So that's probably the thing that impressed me the most. But then, you know, from the basketball standpoint, to win the game that we just won, I don't know if we would have won that earlier in the season. And I mean, they threw their A+ game. We had to play and do A+ things to win it. When a guy gets 30 on you, and, you know, you go back and watch that tape, and you're like, whew, not much more we could have done on that shot. Not much more we could have done on that shot. And I said that 6 times when I watched the film. You're like, because there's some times when a guy does something and you play it perfectly and contest it perfectly, and by analytics, that's not a great shot, and all those things, and he makes it. And you're like, tip of that cap. There's nothing you can do that's, you know, as a player. And to still win that game when we faced that, because man, those guys played hard. They fought us. They are hard to score on because, you know, their size. They made shots, and you know, we were able to get out of there with it was a sold out environment, and that was a, you know, for guys that saw it firsthand, that was a good environment, and they wanted to beat Boise State that night. And for us, so long answer, but what I'm saying is our ability to, so many guys did so many great things, you know. RJ Keene comes to mind right away. Like that pass he made to Tyson, and Tyson got him a wide open three, you're like, that's gonna end the game. Well, we didn't make it, but we still went on to win, you know. And that play he made, you know, because in the chaos of we scored, we're up 3, and you know that they get it in quickly, and you can see me, I'm trying to tell them to foul, but they can't hear you, you know. And for him to know what we want to do in that situation, you know, that's the experience, that's you know, everybody on the same page, knowing what you want to do, and not to let the guy that we couldn't stop get a shot off, you know, ended the game. So all those little things, and then the toughness of Al, like he drove in there and whew, there was a lot of hands and bodies all over him on that first shot, if you saw it, and he was tough enough not to pout, not to, you know, just keep going, got his ball back and got it in. I mean, so all those things, that's just a growing process, because, you know, the other thing, a lot of teams, you know, you put a lot of different good teams in that situation where they fought all game, had the lead, and then lost the lead. They don't win that game. And, you know, for us to have that toughness and that, you know, all the things that we work to get better at, that equanimity in the huddle, all those things that maybe you don't have at the start of the year when you're juggling pieces and trying to get everything right and playing a guessing game. We had that down the stretch and won you the game. Those guys made plays and made smart things happen.
We talked about kind of defense down the stretch.
Javens, yeah.
Yeah, look, I was gonna say, we talked about defense down the stretch a couple times to get that big steal from Javen, you know,
Right.
just how big is that to, you know, get those moments in games like that?
Yeah, those are huge, and those are what, you know, what you try to simulate and go through in practice, and what we want to do in all those situations, you know, and so they have an idea of, because, you know, sometimes you don't, new guys or new groups don't know. You think they know what you should do in those situations, but you don't have it perfect. It's a lot harder when the bullets are flying. There's going to be game slippage in those situations a lot, but the more experience you get with these guys, the more they're able to handle it. And we handled those end of the game. Even, you know, after we had it and we're coming up against the press, we turn it over and give them another shot at it, and, you know, we'll learn from that. Those guys knew they had 2 timeouts. I had my 2 best players back there with the ball. You know, trust them, let them go a little bit, see what happens. Get ready to call timeout. We turn over. Tyson gave, you know, I should have called timeout. Exactly. But, you know, those are the growing things that you get, and that this team has done a lot of.
Just with four regular season games left, you've had, well, 3 players have career high scoring in the last week, big road wins. Would you say you guys are peaking right now, or is there still more to come?
You know, I never want to say that because, you know, it's a jinx things, but, you know, what it sure feels like it. I mean, because, you know, it's late February and we got guys excited to practice, excited to do their jobs, excited to get to the next game, and that's what you want this time of year. And, you know, the teams that can have that have a chance.
Just how are you viewing? I know it's always against games most important, don't want to look too far ahead. And I know you want to win every game, but how do you see these last 4 games? Do you think it's...
I really don't. I just see Wednesday, and that's what we've been good at. And you don't. That's for the fans, for the, you know, speculators, all those kind of things. But we don't. We really don't. That's another great quality of this team. Like, we don't even see, I mean, we see today's practice, and that's it. And if we can do a really good job in today's practice, well, then we'll try to do a really good job in tomorrow's, and then we let it rip on game day. That's kind of been the attitude of what we're
There
going to do.
seems like there's been some buzz, like on my show this morning, on the post-game show, like fans I know it's 8:30 Wednesday, but like,
Yeah.
what do you make of it? Do you think they're gonna respond, I guess, and realize the magnitude of this game?
I know they will. The Bronco Nation has showed up when we need them most over the years, and that's what true fans do. I think Matt Painter said something like that about Indiana, and I loved his quote. Matt's always got great quotes, and a lot of them I probably can't share publicly, but he said, do you know the quote? Like what he said about the when a team's bleeding, that's when true fans are there for them, not the Twitter fans, but we've always had that true fans. And not that we're bleeding, but there's not many opportunities left. And, so come out, let's sell this place out, let's make Extra Mile, make it as hard to play as any of the places we have to go to. And it makes a difference for us, no doubt. And you're gonna see great college basketball. That's what you see when you come to these games in the Mountain West. They're just good teams, great coaches, all these guys battling, and all these kind of things that you get to see when these visitors come in. And this is a heck of a team we're playing, as you see with their record and what they've done. And so, we're gonna have to go and try to be our best on that night, and we need the help of our fans to be our best. We also didn't talk about Peanut. He's the second freshman to win the award since Tyson. So second Bronco freshman to win Freshman of the Week since Tyson, and Tyson won it 9 times that year. The Tyson Degenhardt Award. He changed the name. So it was pretty cool. Good.
Thanks, Coach.